Okay, so we've got an update on motor yacht Amadea. This vessel was spotted cruising around at taxpayers' expense, according to the US press, over the last few days. The vessel was seen leaving her berth in San Diego and sailing up and dropping anchor a few miles upriver. Now, they focused on the fact that it's costing $1 million a month to maintain this vessel while it's in the custody of the US. Now, you might remember, if you've watched the channel since last year, that motor yacht Amadea was seized in Fiji by the US government after court cases which lasted about a month. When the vessel arrived in Fiji, she was immediately seized and taken to the US. Now, the vessel has been in San Diego for 13 months since they sailed it across the Pacific Ocean. So that's, $13 million approximately that the US taxpayer has paid for this yacht so far. The vessel was on the market in 2021 for $340 million after a construction by Lursen. And the vessel arrived in San Diego in June last year. Under a US flag, the vessel sailed across the Pacific with a US flag. Now, the US government has still not filed a case to allow the yacht to be sold at auction. Now, obviously, nobody knows the reason for this right now, except for the people in the US government. And some of the reports were asking, was there a problem with their case? Well, it would seem to be the fact that the reason why they haven't filed yet is because they don't feel confident that they would win that case, right? Now, in a court case filed in Fiji in May this year, the lawyers representing the company Mill Marine Investments, which say they own the yacht, they appealed the decision to the Supreme Court in Fiji that allowed the yacht to be taken by the US government. Now, they say in their filing that they proved the ownership of the yacht remained with somebody called Mr. Eduard Gutenatov. Now, the US government, they say the vessel is owned by Mr. Suleiman Kerimov, but obviously both Russians, and the US believe he is the ultimate beneficial owner. Now, the lawyers for Mill Marine Investments argued that the yacht was built for Mr. Gutenatov and he remained the owner since the build. And they say he intended to sell the yacht shortly after it was completed. Now, this is, part of that last statement is true that I know of. The yacht was put up for sale shortly after it was delivered to her owner. I know some people who worked on the vessel at the time. So it did spend an awful lot of time laid up in Montenegro as it was for sale and not being used. However, the yacht was believed to have been sold in August 2021. But lawyers argued in that case in Fiji that Mr. Gutenatov had effectively sold the yacht to himself, basically transferring the yacht from one entity to another, from a company called Nero to Mill Marine Investments. And they say that transfer took place in August when the sale was believed to have happened, but the yacht remained in Mr. Gutenatov's possession. The problem with all of this is that Mr. Kerimov, who the US believe is the owner of motor yacht Amadea, he has a history of hiding his assets. He did it with a previous yacht that he owned and previous properties in the UK, naming his Swiss accountant, a man called Alexander Studhalter, as the owner. And we've seen digital communications where Mr. Studhalter refers to himself as the owner of Kerimov's previous yacht, but former crew and other paperwork has shown that Mr. Kerimov was the owner of that vessel. Also, this information came out in the Panama Papers, which was leaked information from banks in Panama, and it was covered in various articles by the BBC. And in this one article here, it says that they reveal how a Swiss tattoo artist was falsely named as owner of a company that transferred over $300 million to firms linked to Suleiman Kerimov. And another part of that article says that Swiss accountant Alexander Studhalter posed as owner of properties actually owned by Mr. Kerimov. Some of these properties were in the UK and also this yacht that I mentioned. Now, the court ruling in Fiji, however, if we go back to that for a second, they say that they seem to agree that there were questions about the ruling of the High Court on allowing the yacht to be removed from Fiji. And the judge saying that there was an issue to be tried on whether Mr. Kerimov is Amadea's true beneficial owner. So this could be the reason why the US have still not filed in the US courts because they believe that they need more information. You know, that's quite a possibility. If the court in Fiji has seen it that way, maybe they're worried that that might happen in the US. Now, obviously, the ruling in Fiji is kind of moot, really, isn't it? Because the vessel was already handed over to the US government and it was already sailed to the US and it's now in custody in the US. So they can't file anything. As far as I'm aware, maybe there's some lawyers out there no different, but they can't file it in the US until the US government puts their filing in to try to sell this vessel. If there's any lawyers out there, maybe you can tell us if that's different. Now, obviously, we'll bring you updates on this story when we have them. We followed Motia Amadea right from the beginning, right from when the vessel left Antigua and headed across the Pacific to Fiji. I'll put a link up here if you want to go back and watch those videos. There's a whole series of videos on it from when it was seized until when it was taken to America. Hi, thanks very much for watching this video. You've been watching a Superyacht News clip. If you'd like to see the full unedited Superyacht News video, you can click on the link over here. You can also find our channel links below here. And if you'd like to see more shorter videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel.